The feeder is busy in the soft morning light. A sparrow drops down first, then a finch, then a dove steps carefully beneath the seed tray, picking through what has fallen to the ground. Somewhere near the fence, a cardinal waits in the shadows, bright and still, as if deciding whether the yard is safe enough to enter. For a few minutes, everything feels ordinary. You may be standing at your kitchen window with a cup of coffee, watching the small rhythm of your yard begin again. Wings flutter, seeds crack, leaves move gently. The birds come and go as they always do. And then, without warning, the yard changes. The feeder empties. A few birds freeze. One dives into the hedge. Another vanishes into the nearest tree. The dove on the ground lifts with heavy wings and disappears over the fence. In just a few seconds, the place that felt alive becomes strangely quiet. To you, nothing may look different. There is no hawk in sight, no cat crossing the lawn, no loud sound, no obvious danger. But the birds notice something. Somewhere above the roofline, behind the shrubs, beneath the fence, or hidden in the stillness of the trees, a signal reached them before it reached you. And once you learn how birds read those signals, you may never look at your quiet feeder the same way again. To us, a backyard can feel peaceful. A patch of grass, a feeder by the window, a bird bath near the flowers, a fence, a tree, a few shrubs, and the soft comfort of a familiar place. But to a bird, your yard is not just a yard. It is a map of risk and shelter. Every branch matters. Every open space matters. Every fence post, roof, edge, hedge, and shadow has meaning. A feeder may offer food, but it may also require a bird to step into the open. A lawn may look beautiful to us, but to a small bird, it can feel like a wide, exposed crossing with nowhere to hide. This is why birds rarely relax in the way we imagine. Even while they feed, they are watching. They lift their heads between bites. They turn one eye toward the sky. They listen to the trees, the roof, the ground, and the other birds around them. They are not being nervous for no reason. They are surviving. Your birds know where the safe shrubs are. They know which branches give them cover. They know the quickest route from the feeder to the hedge. Over time, they learn the shape of your garden, the rhythm of your mornings, and the places where danger has appeared before. So when something changes, even slightly, they may notice before you do. And often, the first warning does not come from what they see. It comes from what they hear. Your yard is never truly silent. Even on a calm morning, it is full of tiny sounds. Leaves rubbing together, insects moving, distant wings, branches shifting, a squirrel climbing bark, a neighbor's gate opening somewhere down the street. To us, these sounds blur together. To birds, they separate into meaning. A robin's sharp call from the fence may not sound important to you, but nearby birds may understand it as a warning. A chickadee calling from deep in a tree may be telling others that a predator is close. A jay's harsh voice can carry across a whole yard, announcing trouble long before the danger is visible. Many backyard birds pay attention not only to their own kind, but to the warnings of other species. A finch may react to a chickadee. A sparrow may follow the panic of a robin. A dove may lift off because every smaller bird suddenly moved at once. And sometimes, the warning is not a sound at all. It is the sudden absence of sound. When birds stop singing together, when feeding pauses, when the normal chatter around your yard seems to fall away, it may mean something nearby has changed. A hidden hawk, a stalking cat, an owl tucked into dense branches. The birds are listening to the yard in layers. They hear direction, urgency, repetition, stillness. And once sound has told them to pay attention, their eyes begin searching for the next clue. A bird at your feeder may seem small and delicate, but its eyes are built for a world of movement. A shadow passing over the grass, a dark shape gliding above the roof, a still figure on a fence rail, a sudden shift in the trees. These things can change everything. Many backyard birds are especially alert to danger from above. A hawk does not need to announce itself. It may appear as a shadow first, moving across the yard before your eyes ever find the bird itself. To a sparrow or finch, that shadow can be enough. This is why you may see a bird pause with seed still in its beak. Its body tightens. Its head tilts. One eye turns upward. For a moment, it becomes completely still. It is reading the sky. Birds also notice the difference between ordinary movement and dangerous movement. A leaf blowing across the patio does not move like a cat. A crow passing overhead does not move like a hunting hawk. A squirrel on the fence does not hold its body like a predator preparing to spring. To us, these differences may seem too small to matter. To birds, they may mean life or death. So the next time the birds at your feeder suddenly look up together, do not only look at the feeder. Look above it. Look toward the roofline, the trees, the fence, and the quiet edges of the yard. Because sometimes, the warning is already moving through the air. Birds do not survive only by watching for themselves. They survive by watching each other. Your yard may look like a collection of separate visitors. A cardinal on the branch, a chickadee at the feeder, a robin in the grass, a dove beneath the seed tray. But beneath that peaceful scene, there is a quiet network of attention. One bird notices, then another reacts. Then the whole yard changes. A jay may call loudly from the top of a tree when a hawk is nearby. Chickadees may gather and scold an owl hidden in the branches. Robins may give sharp, urgent calls when a cat moves along the fence line. Smaller birds may not know exactly what the danger is, but they understand the behavior of the birds around them. This is why a feeder can empty so quickly. Not because every bird saw the predator, but because one bird did. Fear, in the bird world, is often communication. A sudden flight can become a message. A warning call can travel through the trees. A few restless movements can tell others that something is wrong. And there is something moving about this. The birds in your yard are not simply competing for seed. They are also listening together. They are sharing danger. They are borrowing one another's awareness. A small bird that survives the morning may do so because another bird gave a warning from a branch the viewer never noticed. So, when your yard suddenly erupts into motion, it may not be chaos. It may be cooperation. And often, what they are warning each other about is much closer than we think. Not every danger arrives with drama. Some dangers wait quietly. A cat beneath the hedge, a hawk perched high in a tree, an owl hidden in thick leaves during the day, a raccoon moving near a nesting area. Even a human walking too quickly toward the feeder can change the mood of the birds. Backyard birds often notice these dangers before we do because they are looking in the places we forget to look. Under shrubs, along fence lines, at the tops of bare branches, inside dark pockets of leaves. A cat may be perfectly still, but its shape, scent, or repeated presence can make birds cautious. A hawk may sit silently for long minutes, watching the yard from a distance. An owl may be almost invisible in daylight, but smaller birds may gather around it, calling and scolding until the whole garden seems unsettled. Birds also remember. If danger appears often in one part of the yard, they may treat that place differently. If a cat regularly hides beneath a certain shrub, birds may avoid landing nearby. If a hawk often hunts through a certain open path, smaller birds may become quicker to leave the feeder when the sky grows quiet. This is where your care matters. Your feeder is not only a place of food, it is also a place where birds must decide whether the reward is worth the risk. And when you understand what they fear, you begin to notice the small signs before they fly. Birds often warn us before they disappear. The signs are small. A sparrow stops feeding and lifts its head. A finch crouches slightly lower on the perch. A cardinal becomes still in the shrub. A dove on the ground turns its body toward cover. A group of birds begins to move with a nervous rhythm, as though the whole flock is tightened. Sometimes they do not flee at once. Sometimes they freeze. Freezing can be safer than flying when a predator is nearby. Movement can draw attention, so a bird may hold perfectly still, watching, waiting, measuring the danger. You may notice a tail flick, a sudden pause, a bird turning one eye upward, a quick visit to the feeder instead of a relaxed one, a bird grabbing a seed and leaving immediately rather than settling in. These are not random little habits. They are pieces of a language. The more slowly you watch, the more you begin to see. Not just birds arriving and leaving, but confidence, hesitation, alarm, trust, and caution. And this changes bird watching. It becomes less about counting visitors and more about understanding them. You begin to notice which birds feed calmly, Which ones stay near cover? Which ones warn the others? And which ones seem to sense danger first? Your yard becomes readable. And when a yard becomes readable, it can also become safer. You cannot remove every danger from a bird's world, and you do not need to. Wild birds are made for awareness, movement, and choice. But the way your yard is arranged can help them feel safer when they visit. A feeder placed near natural cover can give birds a quick escape route. A shrub, small tree, or brushy area nearby can offer shelter when danger passes overhead. But feeders should not be so close to dense hiding places that a cat can wait unseen just a few feet away. The safest yards often give birds options: a place to land before feeding, a place to retreat after feeding, clean water, healthy shrubs, native plants, quiet corners, enough cover to hide, but enough openness to see danger coming. Even the birds themselves can show you what they need. Watch where they fly when startled. Do they all rush to the same hedge? Do they disappear into one small tree? Do they avoid a certain side of the yard? Their escape routes reveal what they trust. Keeping feeders clean, offering fresh water, and reducing sudden disturbances can also make your yard feel more dependable. Birds do not need perfection. They need patterns they can understand. And over time, your yard may become more than a feeding place. It may become a refuge, a place where small lives return each morning because, somehow, they have learned that this corner of the world gives them a chance. So the next time your feeder suddenly goes quiet, pause for a moment. Do not rush to explain it away. Look at the hedge. Look at the fence. Look at the roofline and the sky above the trees. Listen for the calls that remain and the ones that have stopped. The silence may not be empty. It may be information. The birds in your yard are not random visitors. They are listening, choosing, remembering, warning, trusting, and surviving in a world that is much sharper and more detailed than the one we usually notice. A feeder is not just a feeder. It is a meeting place, a lookout, a risk, a comfort, a small point of connection between your daily life and the wild lives moving just outside your window. And once you begin to see that, even an ordinary morning feels different. The sparrow in the hedge is no longer just waiting. The cardinal on the branch is not simply still. The sudden quiet is no longer nothing. It is your yard speaking softly, in a language of wings, shadows, calls, and watchful eyes. If you have ever seen your birds vanish just before a hawk appeared, or noticed one bird warning all the others, share that story in the comments. What is the strangest warning behavior you have seen in your own yard? And the next time you look out at your feeder, look a little longer. The birds may already know something you have not seen yet.